Every story's got a spark, and every spark's got a name. This is the journey of finding mine. Who am I when the lights go low? Who am I when the world says no? Searching through my past, trying to free my soul. One truth at a time, letting every story unfold. Who am I?
Yeah, I'm more than the pain,
Who am I?
more than the pride. Who am I?
Who am I?
Walking in purpose, no mask, no disguise. This is my voice, my rise, my life. Welcome to Who Am I?
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Who Am I podcast. I am your host, Jeff Hopgood, and I'm truly glad you're here. But before we get into today's conversation, before we unpack the lesson, before we ask any hard questions, I always want to start with you. So let me ask you something, and please don't rush past it. How are you doing today? I'm not looking for the automatic answer, not the I'm good you give out of habit. But how are you really doing? Take a moment, breathe. Check in with yourself, because life has a way of keeping us moving so fast that we forget to acknowledge what we're carrying. See, some of you listening right now are tired, not just physically, but mentally, emotionally, spiritually. You've been strong for a long time. You've been showing up even when you didn't feel like it. And nobody's really asked how you are holding up. Others of you may be doing okay, but quietly questioning, wondering if there's more, wondering if you're on the right path, wondering if the version of you that exists right now still fits who you're becoming. So wherever you are, whatever you're feeling, I want you to hear this clearly. You matter. You matter on your best days. You matter on your worst days. You matter even when you don't have the words to explain what's going on inside of you. Your life has value. Your journey has meaning. And your presence here in this moment is not random. I want you to know something else too. I'm here for you. See, this podcast was created as a safe place, a place where you don't have to pretend, a place where you can be honest about the struggles and strength. You don't have to have it all together to belong here. You don't have to be fully healed. You don't have to have perfect faith or perfect clarity. You just have to be willing to show up. And if life been heavy lately, if you've been dealing with pressure, loss, disappointment, or self-doubt, I want to remind you, you can overcome this. You've already survived things you once thought would break you. That means that there is resilience in you. Even if you don't feel it today, you may not see the full picture yet. You may not know how everything is going to work out, but you are stronger than this moment, and this moment is not the end of your story. And if today happens to be a good day, if you're feeling peace, clarity, or hope, I'm grateful for that too. Let this moment ground you. Let it refill you. Let it remind you that balance is possible. See, this space allows for both joy and struggles. confidence and questions, faith and honesty. So now that we've checked in, now that we paused long enough to breathe, let's shift into today's conversation, because today's topic requires courage. Today's episode is titled The Mirror Test. And no, this isn't about how you look on the outside. It's about what happens when you look inward. See, the mirror test is that moment when you stop running, stop distracting yourself, and finally face the truth about where you are and who you're becoming. It's about self-awareness. It's about honesty. It's about taking responsibilities without shame. Today, we're going to talk about what you see when you're alone with yourself, who you are when no one is watching, and whether the person in the mirror reflects the life you truly want to live. This episode isn't meant to judge you, it's meant to empower you, because you can't change what you refuse to see, and you can't grow past what you won't confront. So as we step into the mirror test, I invite you to listen openly, to reflect honestly, to be kind to yourself, but truthful with yourself. If you're ready, if you're open, and if you're willing to look, let's begin with the mirror test. So once again, welcome everyone to the very first episode of the Who Am I podcast. Once again, I'm your host, Jeff Hopgood, and today we're going to dive into something very powerful, something deeply personal, the mirror test. Wait a minute, let me try that again. The mirror test. Oh, sorry, y'all, I couldn't resist. I apologize. Now, let me ask you a question right now. Just right up front, I want to ask you this. When was the last time you really looked at yourself in the mirror? Think about it. And I don't mean checking your hair, your makeup, or your outfit. I mean staring into your own eyes and asking yourself, am I truly being honest with me? It's not about nobody else. You have to ask yourself, am I truly being honest with me? See, the amazing thing about the mirror test is that the mirror test is not about vanity. It's about truth. It's about accountability. It's about courage. So let's go a little deeper. Let's set the foundation of the mirror test. The amazing thing about the mirror test is that the mirror doesn't lie. It reflects who you are in this exact moment. Tired eyes, scars, wrinkles, smiles, joy, pain, all of it. But here's the real challenge. Beyond what you see, what do you feel when you face your reflection? Take a second and imagine it. What questions come to mind? Maybe, am I proud of the person I am becoming? Am I living by my values or just talking about them? Am I keeping the promises I've made to myself and others? If today was my last day, would I be at peace with who I see? So the amazing thing about the mirror is that reflection isn't always easy. Sometimes the mirror forces us to confront things we rather push aside. Such things like excuses versus actions. Maybe you said, I'll start exercising tomorrow, or I'll finally go after that dream next month. But every time you look into the mirror, you know you've been stalling. See, that reflection, it doesn't believe excuses. The reflection in the mirror does not believe excuses. We have to have an integrity check. Maybe you value honesty. Maybe you've been cutting corners or hiding parts of the truth. See, the mirror won't allow you to escape that. It's the one place you can't pretend. You cannot pretend with the mirror test. There's always a pain behind the smile. See, you may look okay on the outside, but inside you're carrying hurt, frustration, maybe even fear. See, the mirror asks you, are you going to keep smiling through the pain, or will you finally deal with it? See, the mirror test doesn't just show us who we are, it calls us to become exactly who we want to be. So let me take a brief moment to share a personal story of my life. See, there was a season in my life when I was completely drained. Work had me worn out, family issues were heavy, and my faith even felt distant. Still, every day I told people I was fine. One night, I walked into the bathroom, turned on the light, and just stared at myself. And I didn't recognize the person looking back at me. My eyes were so tired. My spirit was tired. And finally, I asked out loud, "Are you really okay?" The silence in that bathroom was louder than any answer I could give. For the first time, I admitted to myself, I wasn't okay. That admission was the turning point in my life that forced me to slow down, pray more, and ask for help. See, that mirror moment changed everything for me, because once you admit the truth to yourself, you can finally start making changes. So maybe for you, it's not about stress. Maybe for you, it could be standing in the mirror knowing you've been avoiding that doctor's appointment, or that conversation with your spouse, or that dream you keep pushing off. See, the mirror doesn't allow you to hide. So let me ask you something personal. Have you ever had that moment, a time when the person in the mirror looked back at you and you knew something had to change? Think about it. What exactly did you see in that moment? Was it fear, frustration, or the version of you that you've been running from? Did you feel exposed or finally seen? Were you looking at who you are or who you've allowed life to turn you into? What part of you whispered, I can't stay like this? Did the mirror show you your potential, or did it reflect your pain? Uh-oh. What truth did you try to avoid in that moment, and why? If the mirror could talk back to you, what do you think it would have told you that day? Were you at a breaking point or a breakthrough point and you never realized it? What were you afraid you lose if you actually changed? And most importantly, what part of you was quietly hoping you would finally choose yourself? So as I mentioned, the amazing thing about the mirror is that, the mirror doesn't just reveal who you are, it exposes who you're becoming. And that's where the real journey begins. Because once you see yourself, you can't unsee it. Once truth hits you, you can't pretend you didn't feel it. And once the mirror speaks, you can't keep living on mute. So let me take you a little deeper, not into what you saw, but into why you saw it. Because the next question isn't, what did the mirror show me? The real question is, what am I going to do with the version of me I just discovered? This is where change moves from reflection to responsibility, from awareness to action, from the image you're facing to the life you're now shaping. See, that's the amazing power of the mirror test. It strips away the lies and demand honesty. So let's shift just a little bit. Let's step away from the glass and walk into the truth behind it. So what do we take away from this? See, the mirror is a tool, not a trap. Don't use it to shame yourself. Use it to check yourself. See, accountability starts with honesty. You can fool others, but not your reflection. See, small changes truly matters. What I want you to do is you have to pick one area where your reflection challenges you, and that's where you begin. Another thing is that self-love is a part of it too. Sometimes the mirror test isn't about finding flaws. It's about recognizing the strength you possess within. So I want you to think right now, what's that one area where your reflection has been calling you out? Think about it. And what's one small step you can take this week to change it? Here are some practical ways to live out the mirror test. Morning mirror checks. In the morning, what you do is you look yourself in the eye and you set a clear intention. Today, I will be patient. Today, I will be disciplined. Those are your morning mirror checks. Or it may be, today, I'm going to avoid sugary sweets. You know what I'm saying? That could be your morning mirror checks. Or you could say, today, I'm going to be more kind to others. Today, I'm going to have an open ear, willing to hear what it is that some people have to say. Then I want you to have those nightly reflections. And this is what you do before bed. You ask yourself, did I live by my word today? Was I patient with others? Was I disciplined? Did I avoid those sugary sweets? Was I kind to someone? Was I that open ear willing to hear the hurt of someone else? Then finally, you have those tough love questions. Those tough love questions, when excuses creep in, stand in front of the mirror and ask, am I being real with myself right now? So, quick story. As you all will learn throughout this podcast, I love telling stories. So I once heard about a man who smoked for years. He looked in the mirror every day with a cigarette in hand and say, tomorrow I'll quit. One day he finally looked himself in the eye and said, no more. That was the day he stopped, because he couldn't lie to his reflection nor his self anymore. So let me take a moment and ask you something, and don't rush past this. Please don't. What's your no more moment? I'm not talking about a catchy phrase you post online. I'm talking about that deep, quiet decision that happened when nobody's watching. That moment when something inside of you, finally says, I can't keep living like this. I can't keep pretending this is okay. I can't keep making excuses for what's slowly killing me. See, your no more moment isn't loud. It doesn't come with fireworks. It doesn't come with all the glitz and the glamour and the gold. Most of the time, it shows up alone in a mirror late at night when you're tired of explaining, tired of defending, and tired of starting over. It's the moment you stop blaming your past, the moment you stop pointing fingers, the moment you realize you survived too much to stay stuck this long. So allow me just to press just a little deeper. Is your no more about who you keep giving access to? Is your no more about those toxic relationships that you keep getting yourself involved with? Is your no more begging for love that keeps hurting you? Is your no more about habits you've normalized no more numbing the pain? Is your no more masking the brokenness? What about no more calling dysfunction just who I am? Is your no more about how you see yourself? No more self-sabotage? No more talking down to yourself? Or is your no more living like you're disposable when God tells you you're valuable? See, here's the truth. Your no more moment is the birthplace of change. It's not motivation. It's not hype, but decision. Because change doesn't start when life gets easier. It starts when you get tired enough to choose differently. And hear me clearly. Your no more doesn't mean you have all the answers. No, it doesn't. It doesn't mean you won't struggle again. It just means you've drawn a line and said, I may not be where I want to be, but I refuse to stay where I am. So just take a deep breath right now. If you're listening to this in your car, if you're sitting on your couch, if you're staring at your reflection somewhere, ask yourself honestly, what am I done tolerating? What version of me can no longer survive? And what ends today, even if it's uncomfortable? Because your no more moment isn't the end of your story. It's the moment the mirror stops lying and you finally choose you. This is our final takeaway from the mirror test. The mirror is the ultimate truth teller. It doesn't just show your face, it shows your character. The mirror test isn't about perfection. I cannot stress that enough. It's about honesty. And passing it means being willing to face the truth, celebrate your growth, and commit to change. So here is my challenge for you tonight or tomorrow morning or sometimes this week when you get the courage. Take the mirror test. Look yourself in the eyes and ask, am I proud of who I see? And if the answer is no, don't beat yourself up. Just start with one step forward, because the person in the mirror is the one you'll spend every day of your life with. And what we have to do is make that relationship the strongest one you have. Let's go into the who am I affirmation. I am not defined by my past or limited by my mistakes. I am growing, learning, and becoming who I was created to be. I have value beyond titles, roles, and expectations. I choose honesty over fear and growth over comfort. I am allowed to change, heal, and evolve. I walk with purpose, clarity, and courage. I am becoming more aligned with my true self every day. And who I am is enough. So as we close today's episode, I want to thank you for taking this time for yourself. If something you heard inspired you, challenged you, or made you pause and reflect, please don't keep it to yourself. Take a moment to share this episode with someone who may need it. Invite them into the conversation. See, the amazing thing is that this podcast grows when we grow together. I cannot do this without you. We grow together through shared stories, honest reflections, and real connection. See, every listen, every share, every conversation helps create a community rooted in purpose, a community rooted in hope, and a community rooted in faith and truth. So until next time, keep reflecting, keep becoming, and remember, you matter. This is the Who Am I podcast, and let's walk this journey together.
Who am I?
Yeah, I'm more than the pain, more than the pride. Who am I? Walking in purpose, no mask, no disguise. This is my voice, my rise, my life. Welcome to Who Am I?